Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Clements. I'm in PAX, and I'm standing here with Sean, who is basically one of the head honchos behind Ratchet Clank Frontal Assault. How are you, Sean?
I've never been called a honcho before. I've never been accused of that before, I should say.
Head honcho, man. That's what I'm giving you that title. But no. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what your role is on the project.
Yeah, of course. I'm Sean McCabe. I'm a production director in Insomniac Games North Carolina studio, and we're seeing Ratchet Clank Full Frontal Assault today.
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time. It is great to see this game. I'm a big Ratchet fan. I guess tell us real quick first what we're seeing here at PAX.
So what we have here, we're looking at the campaign. You can play the campaign by yourself, or you can play with a friend, offline or online. And what we're seeing is a little slice of the whole experience. Ratchet Clank Full Frontal Assault is about exploring the battlefield, defending your base, and annihilating your enemies. So what we're actually looking at right now is the explore the battlefield part. When we were first thinking about like what we wanted to do with Ratchet, we looked back at a couple of things in particular. We looked back at Krell Canyon from A Crack in Time, which you remember as a Ratchet fan. And I'm also
Love
a huge
it.
Ratchet fan. Yeah, I'm a huge Ratchet fan, so I get that. And also like a few of the battlefields in Up Your Arsenal. One of them was Iridia. There were a couple. I think there was one on Tyrannosis. But there are these sort of large open environments where you have a lot of choices about what to do. You can do like these little missions and objectives in any order. So that was the foundation of everything that you're seeing right now.
Awesome. And you said, I think you mentioned siege mode is one of the inspirations for why you guys kind of wanted to go with a more tower defense mechanic, which is this is like a very kind of new way to tackle it in the Ratchet series.
Yeah, it was the siege mode in Up Your Arsenal was an inspiration. There were there were segments in Up Your Arsenal where you had to defend this base from other people. You didn't have quite as many defensive options as you do in this one, and the enemies waves were a little bit shorter. But yeah, like you kind of draw inspiration from. It's like one of the cool things about working on this franchise is there's a lot of stuff that we just look at. I mean, we have like a long list of things that we want to explore, things that we couldn't touch on enough. And this is like one of those opportunities to not only like delve a little bit into some of those mechanics, but also take them into the competitive sphere.
Which is awesome, and I'm actually really excited about that. Now we're seeing campaign. I mean, this is not competitive right now, but this is
that thing that people can't see right now, but it's really cool.
but it's still cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, but what we are seeing is going to be very much indicative of what you will see in competitive, which is a lot of frantic running around, grabbing bolts, trying to prepare yourself for then sending waves at your opponent. Correct?
Yeah, I mean that was it. Like the competitive game came out of not just our love of competitive Ratchet on the PlayStation 2, but just seeing the mechanics and imagining the possibilities. What if instead of one base, there's two? What if, instead of you going around collecting weapons, you were also having to kill someone to do it? Like that kind of thing. Like that, it was just a really nice fit.
Nobody dies in these games. They just, get knocked unconscious. Everybody's okay, right? Don't tell me Ratchet's gonna die.
No, he never does. That's a really good thing that you brought up, and we're gonna cut that, right? Okay.
No. This is live. Actually, no, it's not live at all. No, what the cool thing that I like about this is that it still gives you options for laying down your defenses, but there are these nodes on the ground that you're kind of it's arranged beforehand, and you get to choose where you place things.
That was entirely wanting to keep the pace up. Keep it as action-oriented as possible. When you get into some of the more precise placement mechanics, it just requires a lot more. It just requires a lot more time and attention. We wanted people to be able to break down their defenses, which they can do. You can dismantle, you get your bolts back, and then shift them to the left lane or shift them to the right lane. Or hey, we need some Warmonger turrets to take this guy out. Okay, we can do that really quickly. Like that was in the spirit with the kind of tempo we wanted for the base defense segments.
And then just real quick, we didn't mention that the generators in the back of the base, that's kind of that's what you cannot let go down, or else something bad will happen.
It is. Like something that's not death or dying will happen.
Excellent. And
what's worse than death? Failure. That's yeah. I don't know. You will have to restart at a recent checkpoint. It's not we try not to make it too harsh of a penalty. So but you are trying to keep all those generators alive. Also, if you do keep them all alive, you get a medal for it, and you're trying to collect these medals in the game because that's how you get the awesome armor upgrades, the awesome perks.
Yeah, I think you were mentioning before in a previous demo that there was different armor for the different characters. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I mentioned the cooperative mode, so we need 2 players for that. Ratchet Clank, and Captain Quark are available, and as your team upgrades, they get new armor. And the armor for especially for Clank, like it's so cool. It's so cool to see Clank like in bad dude mode.
He doesn't get those chances, so when he does,
yeah, it's exactly. It was like the kind of giant Clank experience that you remember.
Yes.
We were looking at that. We want Clank to be able to kick some butt.
I love Clank's little punches, and his fists kind of get ever so slightly bigger. And
there's a lot to love in those characters. I mean, we really like them. That's like probably the biggest reason why we make these games. It's because we love the characters, we love the world.
And are we seeing any? I've just noticed because we're flipping around a lot right now. Has there been any significant changes or adjustments to how Ratchet and Clank controls, or is this kind of what we've been seeing a lot on the PS3 in recent years?
There have been a couple of changes. Probably the hover boots we've tried to make easier to use. Before you had to select them as a gadget and then use them. I mean, this game is just holding R2. There's no difference between like a hover activation mode. Like you can just blast off at any point. Like that was pretty important to us. The other one is that we've tried to adopt what I'd call more modern shooter controls. So a lot of the game is built around needing to aim. Hold down that L1 and then press R1 to fire. And that was just responding to the need. A need that came out of a more combat-oriented game. Like there are a lot of really high-intensity combat setups in this, and that just required some tweaks to the controls. So far, the response has been really positive. It was interesting. Like we have seen that people wanted to do that. That is what they expected, and so you'll see it's a nice blend, like right in and out of aiming and not aiming. We could think of it as like a nice blend of the classic lock strafe mode and the standard Ratchet controls.
Should we? Okay. I was gonna say.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we are all out of time, but thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate it. When can we expect Ratchet and Clank?
It's coming this fall.
Excellent. I look forward to it. Thanks again, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your PAX.
Thanks.